This is a question from Bill Y. here in Manhattan. Vedanta scholar Ayon Maharaj gave a talk at the New York Vedanta Society in which he argued that Sri Ramakrishna's understanding of Maya was not in fact in line with that of classical Advaita Vedanta. Maharaj claims Sri Ramakrishna held that the world, though impermanent, was nevertheless real and not an illusion, as commonly understood in Shankaracharya's and other interpretations of the Vedic texts. Doesn't this necessarily involve some kind of dualism? You yourself have often maintained that the world is an illusion appearing in consciousness, in substance nothing more than a dream. What are your thoughts on Ayon Maharaj's argument, or on any of his Vijnana yoga ideas, stemming, as I gather, from Kashmir Shaivism?
Very difficult question. And it's a work in progress, you must understand. I fully support and back what Ayon Maharaj is doing. Not because I think Shankara's Advaita is wrong, quite the contrary. You see, it is not against Shankara's Advaita, what Ayon Maharaj has said, but it's an extension, building upon Shankara's Advaita. The way Sri Ramakrishna talks about Vijnana Vedanta, what Ayon Maharaj calls Vijnana Vedanta, is not possible without Shankara's Advaita. You can't have it based on a strictly dualistic framework. Because remember, Sri Ramakrishna also accepts fully Shankara's Advaitic position, but goes beyond that. I am not in a position to argue that out rigorously. By the way, there was an aside about Kashmiri Shaivism. Ayon Maharaj's approach is not entirely based on Kashmiri Shaivism. The only thing is, Kashmiri Shaivism is such a comprehensive philosophy that one great philosopher, Arindam Chakravarti, told me that if you want to really understand and appreciate the gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, you should study Kashmiri Shaivism more than Shankara's Advaita Vedanta. But remember this. Once, when Swami Vivekananda went to the Advaita ashram in Mayavati, in the Himalayas, which he had established specially for the practice of non-dualism, he writes in a letter, I have set up these two places. One is Belur on the Ganges, where all rituals and worship will be followed in a very dualistic manner. It will be followed there. And this place in the Himalayas, for the practice of pure Advaita. Now, when Vivekananda visited the Advaita ashram up in the Himalayas, he found this picture of Sri Ramakrishna kept there, and the worship had started, and Swami Vivekananda said, what, the old man has entered this place too? Remove that picture. So one of the monks was hurt, his feelings were hurt because he was worshipping it. He wrote to the Holy Mother, to Ma Sharada Devi, that Vivekananda says, remove the picture of Sri Ramakrishna. We are worshipping the picture of Sri Ramakrishna. Is that wrong? And of course he expected support from the Holy Mother. To his shock, she wrote back saying, remember, your guru was Advaita, non-dual. And I can say with great certainty, you are all non-dualists, Advaitavadi, the word she. It was very interesting, the word she used. She didn't say Sri Ramakrishna was a non-dualist. He said your guru, Sri Ramakrishna, was non-dual, meaning that he was the non-dual Brahman, an incarnation. And then she says, I can say with full certainty that you are all non-dualists. And therefore what Naren, that means Vivekananda, has done, he has done right. So, then why don't you remove the picture of Sri Ramakrishna everywhere? See, this is the beauty of Ayon Maharaj's approach. He says Sri Ramakrishna's approach was not exclusively classical Advaita. It accepted everything of classical Advaita, but also building on that, you can have dualistic worship with a non-dualistic background. Can't a wave, we are using the wave example, can't a wave who has realized that I am the entire ocean, I am water, the entire ocean, can't it still make friends with other waves? Of course it can. It will be much more friendly now because it knows I am that. Yeah. As even when you realize I am the Brahman, I am the one reality of this entire universe, you still will have experienced yourself as a body-mind. And as a body-mind, now you'll be called a Jivan Mukta, an enlightened person. You will interact with others knowing that you are Brahman and yet fully capable of acting as an individual. In fact, much more capable now. What the Buddha said, I am awake. Buddha literally means the awakened. You have awakened to reality. All others are in fact sleepwalking or fully asleep. You are the one who has awakened to reality. Why will you not be capable of interacting with others as an enlightened being? So, Vijnana Vedanta, Sri Ramakrishna gives many, many examples. I think it's high time that this work was done. Rigorous philosophical interpretation and system building based on Sri Ramakrishna's teachings. Sri Ramakrishna gives many examples. He says a person goes and enters into a house and goes through the door and climbs up the stairs, leaving the ground floor and the first floor and all behind, and goes to the rooftop. And then realizes the bricks and the mortar and the cement the rooftop is made of the stairs and the ground floor and everything that he left behind, all of them are made of the same substance, of the same reality. In the same way, when you do the neti-neti, not this, not the external world, not the physical body, not the mind, beyond that one non-objective, pure subject consciousness, that's only stage 1 of Advaita. It's still not Advaita. Stage 2 is when you look back upon what you left. You left the mind and the body and the external world behind. When you look back upon that, you realize they are all nothing other than this pure consciousness with names and forms. They are all of this. All of this is that pure consciousness, that being consciousness place. That is Vijnana. Now you function in the world knowing that you are Brahman and everybody else is too. Sri Ramakrishna also says that this understanding can provide a basis for your bhakti. It can provide a basis for your karma, for your meditation. You have a body. Why will you not work? Of course you can work. If somebody said, after realizing I am Brahman, what will I do? Well, you are walking, talking, eating, drinking happily. So why can't you go out and do karma yoga and serve the world, or hold a 9-to-5 job, and you can do anything you want. Somebody asks, can I worship God after all? Am I not worshipping myself? See, this is trying to mix up two levels. In Advaita Vedanta, you talk about the higher truth, paramarthika, the absolute truth, and the empirical or the vyavaharika, transactional reality. So realizing that I am Brahman, and now that Brahman appears as this individual being and this vast world, and God, the creator of this world, Ishvara, Jiva, Jagat, this triangle, then what is the role of this individual being? To worship God? Why not? If you can eat and drink and do everything else in the world, what harm has God done to you that you will not worship God? Always in these cases, look at the lives of the enlightened people. Did Shankara not worship? Of course he did. Some of the most beautiful hymns to Krishna, to Ganga, to Shiva, they're all written by Shankaracharya. Is there a contradiction between Shankara the Jnani and Shankara the Bhakta? Absolutely not. It seems to be a contradiction. Why? From the view of classical Vedanta, it seems to be classical non-duality. It seems to be a little bit of contradiction. But from viewpoint of Sri Ramakrishna's Vijnana Vedanta, perfectly all right. So that's the beauty of Vijnana Vedanta. I'm sure we'll hear much more of this over the years and decades to come. I would like to share that the book he has written, Ayon Maharaj, Infinite Paths to Infinite Reality, that book, the International Journal of Hindu Studies, IJHS, has decided to bring out a special issue on that book only. And they have invited 10 noted scholars from all across the world to read that book and give their views on that book. And they will give Ayon Maharaj a chance to respond to those views, and the whole thing will be published as. So, remarkable. I think it's an idea whose time has come and it's going to take off over the next decades and centuries. It's a beautiful idea, and it's really harmony and peace can be established on the basis of this idea.